Hello, my name is Antonio. Welcome to my kitchen. Tomorrow I want to make lasagna. So tonight I'm making the pasta for the lasagna. The pasta for the lasagna is very basic. It's just eggs and flour. There are a lot of recipes and videos on YouTube that show you how to make it. So what I found is that the proportion between flour and eggs, you need to be careful. So the basic proportion is 100 grams of flour per 1 egg. Now let's start from the flour. Which flour? If you just starting, use all-purpose flour, which works great. What I'm using here is the 00 flour or Italian style flour they use. They say it's or Italian flour. It's more fine. So the difference is that when you use all-purpose flour, you might want to use the extra large eggs. When you use the 00 flour, you need to use the large eggs. And sometimes you might need to adjust it anyway. Some recipe call to mix the flour, the regular flour, with a semolina flour. It is up to you, you can experiment as you wish. Eggs, since the pasta is just flour and egg, having a good flour and a good egg is essential. You want to get the best eggs. I'm using here some organic pasture hen grade AA large brown eggs. I have a couple of friends who have chicken in their backyard, even better. These eggs are larger, they weigh between 60 and 65 grams, and that's what I'm going to use to make the pasta. So, I'm gonna put the flour here, make a hole, big hole, that's where we... Now we're gonna crack the eggs inside the hole. Now, with the help of a fork, I break the eggs and start mixing little by little. Start mixing the eggs first. There you go. Start adding the flour little by little, trying to be careful not to let the eggs run out. If they run out, not a big deal. If you're doing this for the first time, you may want to use a bowl to put the flour and start mixing the eggs and the flour in the bowl so they won't run away. This operation will take about a minute or so. Okay, it is the right consistency for me to start working the flour all together. There you go. And the main difference of using a all-purpose flour or a 00 flour is going to be the consistency of the pasta at the end. With the 00 flour you will get a pasta that is much more fine, and to say it melts in your mouth. Okay. Now, let me show you how to work the dough in the correct manner. Alright, we start with the dough. You want to work it so that you fold the piece and you press. Fold and press. Fold and press. Fold and press. Then you turn in 90 degrees and you do the same. And you continue on doing this. There you go. Now, this dough is a dough that requires a good work. So, when you start seeing this kind of dough, work it for at least 10 minutes. If you want to make sure, just work it for 15 minutes and you're going to be sure that you're doing the right consistency. Okay. So now we just work it for about 10 minutes. Okay, we are 5 minutes in. This is how the dough looks like. You still see pieces of white flour, so we're just going to show you the consistency about half the way. And we still do the same movement. Fold, 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 turn, fold, press, fold, press, fold, press. Okay, we've been working this dough for about 12 minutes and I think it is ready. Let's see if you can see the consistency. When I do like this, you still see that it opens a little bit, but that's okay. So what we do now is to make a bowl out of it. we tuck the dough and we wrap it in a plastic wrap and we let it rest for half an hour, 40 minutes or even overnight. If you let it rest overnight, put it in the fridge, otherwise outside is perfect. And I'll see you in 40 minutes when we're going to make the real pasta. 40 minute pasta, our dough is ready to be stretched and thinned out. Okay, we can use, so this is a machine that we can use to thin it out. It's an Imperial machine, it's very simple to use. There are two rolls over here. The pasta goes to these two rolls. You use this crank to just roll the pasta in. There are 6 settings here from 1 to 6. 1 is the widest, 6 is the thinner. What you do, you take a piece of dough, you start on number 1, roll it through, number 3, roll it through, number 5, roll it through until you got number 6, and you'll see that the dough will be very light and thin. Now, using the machine is super cool, but because I'm Italian, I'm a crazy Italian, we're going to roll our pasta the whole way with the rolling pin. Okay, first off, we cut a piece of pasta. There you go. Cover the rest so it doesn't get dry. Sprinkle some flour. There. We start using our hands to flatten the dough. There you go. Now we're ready for the pin. I have to say that using the rolling pin is faster than the machine. The result will be not as perfect as the machine, but is the beauty of imperfection, the beauty of doing things manually. There we go. But you can definitely go as thin as with the machine, for sure. And that's what we are looking for actually here. Going thin, the thinnest possible. It's getting big. I'm gonna cut it in half and work half of it. Good. Okay. Again, use your body if you want to do this operation to really press the dough and roll it super thin. Oopsie. When it gets thinner, it tends to stick to the surface, so we add a bit more flour, and you go. Look at this beauty. I don't know if you can see with the video, but I'll show you in a second that this, there you go. It's so thin that you can see my hand through, hopefully. There you go. You can see my hand through. This is how thin it should be. It's a beauty. It's really soft and just awesome. Awesome pasta. Okay, we're making lasagna, so we're going to cut square, more or less the same size, like this. And we are going to let them dry on a piece of cloth like this, which is way too bright. There you go. Okay, so tomorrow morning they'll be ready and dry to cook in 5 minutes in boiling water, and that will be the base for our lasagna. Once you roll the dough very thin, you can use the other piece of the machine to make tagliatelle. It's beautiful. I'm gonna try to make tagliatelle with this piece, just for the fun of it, with our rolling pin. Right? Yeah. So, start. Start rolling. Rolling thin. Just like a pleasure to work the pasta like this Okay, maybe because I'm crazy Italian, I find pleasure in these things, but who cares? Look at that. Beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, to make lasagna, we're going to cut like this. Of course, to make tagliatelle, so we're going to cut like this, because there's no way to cut it like this. So, what we do, we roll our dough, very gentle, and we cut our tagliatelle. Let's see if it worked. There you go. Of course, this is kind of big, but you got the idea. Perfect. We unroll it. Oopsie. Yeah, with practice you get better. It's not easy to make it all the same. Okay, this is it for the pasta. I hope you learn how to make the pasta. Again, very important is trying to get the right amount of eggs and flour. Try to get really good eggs. After all, this pasta is just flour and an egg. You want to be good. And yes, let me know your feedback. Try it out. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. And I will see you in the next recipe.